Hopefully it's recording. Oh. Okay. All right, well, welcome everybody. Can you all see up here okay? Everybody see? Fine. Okay. Nope, I don't want that. Okay. Well, today we're going to talk about the lesson builder, and we have Jason Dahm with us again from APHIS. And I thought, first of all, today I would just show you the lesson builder. How many of you have used lesson builder before? Have you used lesson builder before? I saw a finger and a couple hands. Okay. So lesson builder is a neat tool. And it allows you, the thing that it allows you to do is to take all the, not all, but most of the tools that you have on the navigation panel and to pull them into one spot so that the students don't have to keep going back and forth. They don't have to keep going into resources and looking at something there, and they don't have to go into quizzes and get the quiz, and they don't have to go into assignments and dig out the assignments. They don't have to keep hopping around, but they can stay in one tool and they can grab everything there. It's just very convenient and it's nice and neat, and they don't have to hop all over the place. So I just thought I'd show you a few examples. One's from our online certification course, and we use the lesson builder tool a lot in there. The whole course is in the lesson builder. And then I have a couple other people that I said, could I show your lesson builder? Could I showcase that? So I'm using an art class and a music class, a couple professors that use the lesson builder a lot, and I'm just going to show you what they do with it very briefly. And then Jason's going to show you, talk about transitioning lessons to lesson builder if you've been using lessons, and how we can migrate that. We'll talk about maybe the most convenient way to do that, and the new lesson builder tool and what you can expect with that. So if we go into the online certification course, let's see here, and I go into lesson builder, and say I jump into something like this. Coming up here. Oh, thanks. Yeah, is that a little bit better? Okay. So what I've done is Lesson Builder sets you up with a series of tools here, and I've just added text. I have a bunch of buttons, and I add text, and you can add a text box, and I've changed my font color and my font size, and then it provides me with these little next buttons, and I can create sub pages and other little buttons, and I can add icons. Here I've actually added a resource, so I can go up here and I put some resources in my resources folder, but instead of making my students jump out to check my resources, I've just gone up here and I've clicked add resource, and it pulls it right into my lesson builder. So they can read the resource right there. And then they continue, and I've got some discussion posts here. So instead of having to go out into the forums and do a discussion post, They have it right in the lesson builder, so they can go right here and they can go right into the forum and they can participate in the forum right there. They can keep on going. I've also pulled in my discussion right here. I can add a quiz right in my lesson builder right there. I don't have a quiz, but if I wanted to add a quiz, I certainly could. You set everything up right here just like you would with everything else. If I wanted to add a quiz or add a forum, I would do that here on these buttons on the side, but then I just bring it right into my lesson builder. And so everything is right there, nice and neat for my students. They don't have to leave the lesson builder. It's all right there in the package. So it's pretty seamless. If you're setting up something for your students to do, you can have it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do this, read this paper, do this assignment, post in the forum, take the quiz. There's no mystery about it. So it's all right there in the lesson builder. Does that make sense? And it's very, very easy to do that. And you can just go in here, you can add videos, you can add multimedia, add any resource, add an assignment, add a quiz. You can reorder how you set up your lessons. So it's just playing with the buttons. Very, very easy.
Laura, could you show that in student view? So
Yeah,
from that perspective?
Absolutely. So say we're just doing one here, so the student's going through. So I added a podcast. I just pulled that in. There's their task. They're reading through. I brought in a video for them. They never need to leave the lesson builder. Just brought in a little cartoon from the resources, brought in some web pages. So instead of it being clunky and I'm telling my students, okay, now go into Sakai in your resources and look for these websites, I just say go into the lesson builder and this is what you do. It's all right there, and they can go back. They can watch everything. Easy peasy, apple squeezy. Put pictures in there.
Doesn't this look different? I mean, I usually like, does it always look this way?
I don't know. This is how, well, I'm using Chrome right now, going in through Chrome, so it might look a little bit different through Chrome.
I use lessons, but it looked different when I did it with the class.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
This is actually the old Sakai. I'm not going in through the new Sakai. We can look at one through the new Sakai. Yeah. Sir?
The reference to lessons looking differently maybe because there are 2 lesson tools.
Yeah.
And so she may have been in.
On lessons.
We'll call that the old one, or what we call it internally is the Millennium tool.
Yeah.
So when I talk, we'll talk about the Millennium tool, which is no longer supported, and probably what you use in lesson builder.
Let's go into, here is a, whoops, oh, sorry. Still doing that weird thing. Let me exit the student view. I want 20. Here we go. So this is a current music appreciation site or introduction to music site. And I am not the instructor, but the instructor, instead of calling it Lesson Builder, and you can change the title of Lesson Builder once you add, he's chosen to call it Weekly Modules. So to make it easy for his students, he set up a Lesson Builder and he calls it Week 1, Week 2, Week 3, Week 4, etc. So Week 1, he's just used these buttons up here. If you go into, I'm not in as the professor, I'm in as an academic observer, so I'm missing the student view. If I would have thought to put myself in as professor, we would have had the student view. I didn't think about that. I could actually do that. All right. So this is what the student sees. So everything's right here in week 1. There's their picture. They read exactly what they're doing. Gives a link to the ebook reading. Next, some videos they can watch right there, imported from Add Multimedia. Notice the student doesn't see the buttons that the professor used in the lesson builder.
Is that the only difference between what the professor sees and the student sees? The buttons on the
The buttons, the add button. Notice that instead of making the student, instead of saying go out into the forums tool and do this, the link to the forum is right here. So they just have to click introduce yourself and they can go right into the forum. And then when they're done with that, there'll be a link right back to the lesson builder and they come right back in and they can continue. Looks like he's added a little podcast here, right from Add Multimedia. So it looks like he's added an assignment, so the student doesn't even need to leave the lesson builder to do the assignment. It's all there. 1, 2, 3, easy, easy, easy. Looks like he's cognizant of different learning styles, so what works best for you? This is a fully online class, and one of the things we strive to do with our fully online classes is cater to different learning styles. So is it best for you to practice with flashcards, with PowerPoints, or with an outline? So here's all the material. Pick which one works best for you, or maybe all 3. And then here's our listening guides. And then here's a review. Again, it goes right back to everything. The student doesn't need to leave the lesson builder at all. Reiterates the expectations. Go right back to the weekly modules. And then week 2, you can see again exactly what's required, etc.
Laura, I had some stuff set up in Lesson Builder, and then I moved my modules
Mm-hmm.
to add another module, and I lost all my links. I had to go back in and put them all back in again. Is there any way when you move something not to lose all the links? Because it took a long time to have to go and basically reconstruct the entire thing.
Did you go to reorder? Is that what you did?
I was inserting a bunch of stuff, and in doing so, I was moving stuff around and lost all my links.
By moving stuff around, were you reordering?
All I know is I
Okay.
had to go put it all back together.
I don't know. It might be a operator error.
No idea, it's probably true.
I would say just back it up and I don't know. I do know that APIS runs, I think, every 24 hours of backups. Is that accurate? So, I mean, you could ask us to go into the archives and pull it back up for you.
You want to do that right away?
Yeah, you want to do that right away. So you could tell us, I need what was up 24 hours ago, and we could get that back up for you. We just need to know. Okay, so that's a little overview of what Lesson Builder can do. It's a lot of fun. It's much simpler for our students. I think it's neater. It's more organized. They don't have to keep leaving the tool and going back into the sidebar there to get to things. It takes some time to set up, but it's really convenient. So, do you want to show us some new Sakai and Lesson Builder, and
Okay.
we could talk about migrating if they've used lessons. And you want
Let's
me to
do it.
log out and you? All right. I'll log out of mine. However you wanna go into Sakai 11. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I think you've accurately summarized the purpose of the Millennium, or the Lesson Builder tool, which is really to provide the students sort of a one-stop shop, and that's what it does. It can pull in resources from everywhere else, making their experience more focused on learning and less on where do I find this or how do I figure it out. I'll show you a few other universities that we support. I'm going to show you the Hondros School of Nursing. They're in Ohio. They're a completely online school underneath the API umbrella that I work for. Then I'll also show you American Public University System use of the lessons tool. So you have a couple good examples of how other people are leveraging this tool. First of all, it looks much better in Sakai 11 than it does now. I think what you saw Laura show was nice, but we personally invested around $50,000 in a UI group just to sort of clean up how it looks and how it felt and how the UIs went, and that was one of the big hallmarks of the Sakai 11. And it's also mobile friendly in there along with the rest of it, so it's nice. It cleans up and looks really good on the phone. Let's see. So we're going to go to Hondros School of Nursing. If I can get in. And we'll take a quick look at their use of lessons. If I can remember my password. Oh no. Yeah, there it is. I prepared a student experience model site. For those of you who haven't seen Sakai 11, this is the general look and feel that Shepherd will have. More modern, font awesome icons on the left-hand side. Everything's streamlined as well. And then for here, let's go down to the lessons tool. And what they've done here, as you'll notice, is that's the icon, this little piece of paper that's open. We can change it for you if we want, but that's typically the icon. And what they've done is they've just created one button for every lesson. So you could do that. In the APIS, we're going to go into the lessons tool, and then it will show like the one that Laura showed where there's week 1 through 10 on the first page. You could do it that way. What they've chosen to do is put it all here. It lengthens the left-hand navigation menu pretty considerably, but there's no question about where you are in the navigation. So let's take a look at what week 1 would look like. So they'll have one page. The quote-unquote lecture will be in here, so that legal pad that you walk in and you put on the podium and then you start teaching with is generally what is this first front matter is going to be in our lessons and in the Hondros lessons as well. They've got some labs in McGraw-Hill that they need to go to, week 1 objectives, and then down here at the very end, as Laura was talking about, whatever you need to do for that particular week in terms of going to different tools will be at the very bottom. In this particular case, there's one forum and there's one assignment. They're assigned readings. So very clean. The edits have changed a little bit. You'll see the edits are over here from what Laura was saying. There was a big edit button, I think, beside each block that was here. Much easier to use. At the top too, the menus have been combined. So the add content, this was, I think, between 2 or 3 different buttons. So this is all in one nice, convenient place. And the more tools, tips and some settings.
Can you go back to more, when you used to go into your one more tool, is that where upload content in a zip file and you can put it in as a, like a web page? Yeah,
if you've got some zip file contents, that's right there now.
Yeah. So it used to be in the tools, but now it'll be
they've all combined here. Yeah, so if you've got any zip package, it will usually play the content pretty well. If you're getting some SCORM packages or some other packages that are coming out from your publisher, absolutely. One real nice thing, we don't use this here a lot at Shepherd, but the external tool, I think there's a learning tool interoperability, LTI tools. Every single publisher or vendor out there of your textbooks usually has some kind of add-on or some bolt-on, and you may already be paying for it. I know this is the case for, what's the name of the textbook, Rich? Red Barn or?
McGraw-Hill.
And we have another one with anyway, so McGraw-Hill, Wiley, Pearson, the other textbook providers have these external tools, and I'm going to show these to you, but they're single sign-ons. They're ways for the student to click a link and then boom, be taken into the publisher's exams or extra activities right from the classroom. So if you're sending them now to go log in somewhere and manage another set of credentials, if you're doing that now, that's really not necessary, and you could place those links in the lesson builder. You can place multiple ones of them, and we would like to work on you with those integrations. We've worked with Rich on 2 so far. We just don't know what the inventory is out there and what publisher's offering what for free, etc. I'll go pop into one more week here, week 5, and then we'll hop over into American Public University system and take a look at how they're using lessons. Same thing, quite a bit more down here, but still, right? These are links to go out for assigned readings and different resources, and then through here, it looks like we have 4 or 5 forums and 2 essays. That you can name these links however you want. That as long as you've created these forums and these assignments or these other resources that are already existing in your course, it's pretty easy to pluck them out and then add them in here where you are. Let's go take a look at American Public University system now and see how we're using them. So in my world, it's pretty lockstep. So you, as a student, you're in one classroom, and it's going to look and feel like pretty much all the other classrooms that you go into. So the order of the tools, that experience is the same, and then even the templates that we use in the lessons tool, they're also the same. So what you see in English is going to be what you see in history, which is going to be what you see in psychology, mainly because we have, like for example, we started 1,700 courses today, each with between 15 and 20 students in it. And from them to jump from course to course and see something that's familiar is very helpful for their use case. So our lessons are, let's take a look at this College 100 site. This is our entry-level online, this is like Shepherd 101 is our College 100, to give you some context. Basically learning your writing styles, learning about the university. We only use one button for lessons, but I'll show you another use of it here. So let's come in here. And then within here, this is how we arrange our weeks. So we'll have a course overview, and then weeks 1 through 8. Pretty much across the board is what you'll see here. And as I'm thinking about this, I saw some people with the Lesson Builder tool up on their screen, and it's very daunting when you first open up that tool, and there's all that, you know, that big yellow box, and it tries to give you some instruction on how to use it, and you're like, you know, it's kind of like, it's this big piece of white paper, and you're an artist, and you're like, how do I start? So if they're given a template like this, if you decide on having one, you want to create one, we can certainly do that, so that's sort of already preloaded. So from here, you would just have to click into, okay, well, geez, what am I going to do in week 1? And then if that template is something that I agree with, in our week 1, we have a little bit about digital literacy, security, and then like Laura was showing, the next buttons. And then from here, here's an LTI link, and then we actually launch some other HTML content out of here. So this is a third-party tool. Oh, I'm not in student view. That ruins it. Let me do what Laura did. I'll change myself to student. We'll come back in and experience that again. Oh, and then also the breadcrumbs will be up here to navigate around. And then launch lesson. This is our more modern sort of lessons that we do. Let me show you one that has a more of a template approach. See what's in this nursing course. And then usually, this is usually what we'll have. That College 100 was just recently designed to be even, but typically we'll have the getting started, the course overview, the getting started, and maybe the culminating activities, and then pinched in there will be your weeks. And then when you drill into a week, this same thing will always be the same. Some people have readings, writings, activities in this folder, or it just depends on what you want. But this is what's pretty much stamped out in our, and then just like Laura was showing, from here it's really up to the artist or the author. And then it's just reading a book that the students go through it. I also used it for this too. I've recently put this in all of ours. The buttons on our left-hand navigation menu kept on growing and growing, and people wanted to add more and more and more stuff to that. So I said, well, as a university, what are some common resources that we want all students to have access to? And let's just call that more tools. And let's look for that launch plate. And so that's also what we're using the lessons tool for. So in our more tools right now, let me go into College 100 where I'm a student. So all those edit buttons don't show. This is what we've started with now. So I've taken the lesson, and you can edit it to make these little boxes, and you can make a bunch of cubes with these. You can separate the pages. But so far we've said, well, hey, let's put Office 365. Let's put all the information that every student needs to know about mail in here, and they can click on this button, and that will go to what everything student in our world needs to know about mail. They can back out the student handbook, of course, and I've got a little button here that kind of explains what the student handbook is. And then also Portfolio is it's free for institutions to use, but it's a great portfolio tool. Basically what they do is they take that student's data and they allow corporate employers to mine it, and that's their revenue model. So for universities, it's very attractive because it's a pretty slick thing, and when you're the provost of the university and you're looking at that, so you just have to get past what they're going to use of the students. But it's a very nice product, and we put it in every single classroom. So if you're in the EDUC and you need to build that portfolio, or you just want to build a sort of an online living vita, so that was another use of it. Just, hey, let's just group all our institutional tools. I would actually like to get our library off the left-hand nav and into here as well, but the library would never agree to you losing space on the left-hand navigation menu and being relegated to the more tools area. So, and we love the library because I think I am being recorded. Let's see. So we have 10 minutes left in the presentation. I wanted to use a little bit of time talking about the Mileti tool. And the Mileti tool is the old lessons tool. And every single lesson that you just saw used to be in the Mileti tool. Let me pick on Math 100 here. This, if you use the key, and this especially for the people that listen to this afterwards, here's the key, is the Mileti tool is going away, the old lesson builder. If you have content in the old tool, it will not render in Sakai 11. The data, however, will be there in the database. There's no question about that. It will always be there. And we have a script, we have a utility that will go in there and recreate your content into the new lesson builder tool. So if you have any courses that are out there, don't panic because the old Mileti tool or the old lessons tool is going away. We can, with a click of a button, convert you over. So while Laura and myself and Rich have not decided exactly how we're going to do it, I think these are the two options that are going to be available to you moving forward. First is, if you have a course now that's using lessons, the Mileti, the old lessons tool, and you want to convert it, no problem. Just copy and paste the URL The reason I say copy and paste the URL is there's a hash, there's a unique site identifier in there that lets us know exactly which site you're in, so we don't convert something that you know how the course namings are, you know. Copy the URL, send it to Rich, and we'll convert it for you so you can take a look. We can go back and forth. We can have both of them in the classroom at the same time if you want to take a look. So you can have your lessons tool there, the old one, or the Mileti tool, and then we'll put it in the lesson builder tool, and both the buttons will be sitting there. They're just reading the information out from the database. And then for the final conversion, I think what we'll plan on doing for anybody who doesn't take us up on the, hey, check it out now list, the day before we migrate to Sakai 11, which will happen sometime between Christmas and New Year's, when hopefully you're warm and spending time with your family, we'll be working on this. So we'll migrate everyone's lessons over to Lesson Builder, and then pull your old lesson button away. Just like this course was. We've done it 25 or 30,000 times. It takes a while. This is actually one of our older models where we have more sublinks. Lessons overview, readings and resources, the lesson. They have the Pearson My Math Labs. So that's a single sign on through an LTI link that will pop them right over into Pearson stuff. No login required. What your forum and assignments and lesson review is. And we can buzz through this real quick. Just to take a look. Lesson overview, objectives, topics, key learning concepts, the deliverables for that particular week. We don't have the luxury of talking to our students in brick and mortar, so our lessons are obviously going to be a little bit more robust, probably. This lesson, where we're going, what we're doing, how to get to my math labs, and that's where we do most of our work. We don't use, and I think it's a mistake, just because we just recently converted over from Lessons Builder, but you'll see in Hondros and you'll see in Laura's examples where they placed access to the assignments and to the forums there. Here is still that direction where it just says, hey, here's your forums, go press the forums button. Wouldn't it be nice if there was that forums link there? So we've just recently onboarded with this tool for about 6 months. So we're still getting used to it ourselves, although it has been around. We had just poured a considerable amount of money into rebuilding all our lessons in the Mileti tool, in the old lessons tool, and there really wasn't budget or an appetite to redo them right away again. But we're due anyway. Anyway, if you have, the point that I was trying to make is if you have any stuff going on in the Mileti tool, don't worry about it. We'll be able to convert it over. And these import into your courses. So like Nora said, to get up and get comfortable with these and make a nice set of lessons, there's a lot of time invested. But the nice thing is the lessons are like your lecture notes or your 8.5 by 11s that you bring in. You put a lot of work into those, and you get to reuse it time and time again. Maybe some minor updates because of current events or whatever. So your work will be preserved, and you can import that forward as well. And I think overall the tool is a little bit easier to use. And this is what yours will look like. Embed content on page. And I don't know if any of you have fought with adding YouTube videos into the old Mileti tool, and you get that script access, and it won't. Anyway, it's real easy now just to put the URLs in there, and you can pull YouTube videos up all day long, and they come embedded. They look really nice. I could go into a whole bunch of other courses to show you, but it's a blank HTML page, right? So it'll parse anything that you can think of, just like you'd make in Dreamweaver or anything else. In addition to that, you can pull your own resources and tools in. So that's the lessons. So are there any questions or concerns? Maybe we'll look at a human resource one. Let's see what's in here. Still, same thing. Well, this one's doubled. No, it's not. This is a 16-week course. So they're still using sort of that older template where you have the weeks, and then in the sub-weeks, you have that standard thing. Many people in our university have moved off this 6 lengths and condensed it down to 3. And some of these you may just find, there is nothing this week.
So is it better to put the weeks inside lessons or put it all on the left tab?
I like it inside lessons. I don't know where I heard this from, but generally you want to reduce the navigation on the left-hand side as much as you can. Plus, there's like some 7 options rule, 7 by 3. Never have more than 7 options on the left, and then more than 3 menus deep, or you'll completely use the loops. That's not true. We can use Microsoft Word, Adobe Photoshop, and have all kinds of those things. But and we have more than 7 on our left-hand side now. But personally, I think since the tool allows you to put the weeks inside, you can just manage it here, because you can put a page and a sub-page and a sub-page and a sub-page. So it allows us to do it. It cleans up the left hand a little bit, in my opinion. When we designed the Hondros example where we saw the buttons on the left, I think we were all new to it at the time. They've been using it for a couple of years, though. And I don't know if they would redesign it given the option or not. There's a cost involved with all that, but that's the way we do it. And it's usually a holdover. That's the way that we did it with the other lessons tool. It was week 1, and then indent was then week 2. And then that was the way we did it with our learning management system before we got onto Sakai. And so we've sort of used the tool in that way, I think, for 10 or 12 years. It's just it's sort of embedded in us. But I think it also makes really good sense. Maybe we'll go into emergency disaster management. Usually these upper level ones aren't, you'll find. So they've done the same thing. Overview, getting started. Overview for us always has course materials and guidance. And always. Getting started is always what you have to do in week 1. And then they're the same. Overview, readings, lesson form, assignments, tests, lesson review. That's our stock template, and it's getting condensed a little bit across some redesign efforts that are going on. Yes, ma'am.
In terms of timeline, I haven't used Lesson Builder yet, but I'm really curious to do it. And so if I were to want to kind of jump into spring and build some lessons, where would you recommend I test and sort of?
That's a great question. Don't do anything in the Shepherd test environment, because nothing in there that you do is going to be transferable. You have access to that. We had it on the beginning slide. If you're not familiar how to get to Sakai 11, everything that you have now has been converted over there, so it's there for you to take a look at as of June. Get with Rich if you need the URL to get in there. Shepherd is on Sakai 11 in this test environment. But for you, that would be getting a sense of what the new tool looks like, but I wouldn't create anything meaningful or lasting in there. I would just use the older lesson builder tool that Laura started the presentation with, and just live along with that, knowing that it will look better and greater in December and whatever you've done.
Could I create a lesson builder in my current course but not publish it for students and just mess with it there and then convert it over into my course next semester? Like, could I test it in a current course but not publish it for students yet?
Is there a way to hide that? You may need a sandbox to develop from.
She has a course that is unpublished.
Oh, okay. Yes, if the course is unpublished, absolutely.
I just have a course that I don't use.
Yes, that's fine. Rich?
You can also just hide that tool, and then the students can't get to it.
So
So here's the limitation of me, right? We don't allow our faculty to rearrange our tools. As you saw, it's pretty cut and dry, right? Everything's in the same place for all students. So you all have the ability, you have a lot of power here at this university. You can move your tools and add and remove tools, choose the tools that you want to use. It's pretty prescribed for us, just so we have a consistent student experience. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. So if we wanted to start working on a summer class in January,
Yes.
or December, whatever, we can do that without worry?
Yes, yes. So there's the test site, which is shepherdtest.apus.edu portal. I'm reading it right down here. This is at shepherd.edu. Sakai-11 is your site with your one-stop shop for all these recordings and everything. But in your regular Sakai, which I want to come in here and show you. Oh, I can't log in. What Rich was saying, because you do have tool order button, edit tool page order. Yeah, and then in page order, what is it, the lock?
Yeah, no, it's a light bulb.
The light bulb. Hi, yeah. So you can do that if you have an active course, or you can,
Or a non-active.
or an old course. You can just bring the lesson builder in. As soon as you create it, you can import from it. So if you've got an old course, maybe you want to tool around in there and make it. You can do it in a new course and light bulb it, or you can work in a course that you know is not going to be published.
When you do the light bulb there, it'll turn it, it'll italicize it on the side, so only you can see the tool. But if you go into the student view, the students can't see the tool on the side.
Okay.
And the way that Sakai 11 treats that is right here too, like this site editor. So it's in light gray and there's a little eye with a cross. That's how that's managed when you go to Sakai 11. So that's just showing you, you can see that, but students can't see that
You can
tool.
also reorder your tools using the page order.
Yeah, that's just dragging and dropping.
You can do that on a published or unpublished site, so you can, and what Jason was explaining is we have the power to do that, but at APUS they can't do that. Theirs are loaded and locked.
No freedom.
Yeah, we have freedom, so stop whining.
Yeah, I just work publishing, yeah.
Any thoughts on the lesson builder tool? There'll be another, yes, sir.
Well, and this is sort of related. So I don't really teach online, but I use a lot of the technology.
Yes, sir.
And we have to create a syllabus.
Yes, sir.
Is there a way that the syllabus can be interactive so that you click on the date and it goes to the lesson plan? I mean, do we have to take all that data and just put it into a first lesson? I'm not sure, so that they don't have to go and look at the syllabus that's attached because we have to have it to turn it in other places.
Oh, and so you manage a paper copy?
It's electronic PDF, but it's a
Yeah.
paper copy essentially.
Yeah.
Even if it was there, is there a way to, I mean, do we just take the data and just put it in there and then do hyperlinks?
You could do that. I'd be happy to work with you on that. The new syllabus tool, which we won't go over too much because we usually just upload documents, is pretty neat. It's worth looking at, but then you still have to take all your time and put it out in there. You can certainly create a syllabus or recreate your syllabus here, because I know that you probably have a weekly outline and basically the same information, right? What is expected of them for that week, and that's generally what you saw here in the lessons tool. So a lot of your content outside of any rich media is already created. There's no easy way to get it in from there, though, into the lessons tool. But I think that some students would certainly appreciate it, even if it was just the hyperlink to the document. but maybe a more fleshed out version of your syllabus as into the course weekly outline would be a nice touch. You know, it's a real drag, in my opinion, copying, pasting out of PDFs. So if you have it in a Word document that you've pushed to a PDF, use that. Because when I copy and paste from a PDF, it is a bear. So here's the new syllabus tool, and you'll be able to make multiple ones of these. So if, say, your syllabus is divided into 8 components: objectives, readings, expectations, weekly outline, biography, citation styles, selected bibliography, or whatever your components of your syllabi are. You can create them, and you can just do this. We just still do this, right? Here's who I am, and here's an uploaded document. That's how we manage our syllabi. But what some people are doing is breaking these out into all those, whatever your headings on your syllabi are. Or some people, there's ways to make these dates, show dates as well. So if in your weekly outline, you can have these things sort of come down, and that could be sort of a mini lesson, you know, whatever your expectations are. So if you can imagine maybe 15 of these piled up on top of each other, and the student can come through and accordion them up and down, that's a nice touch, because it cleans up the screen if they're not using any of it. That's a sneak peek at the syllabus tool. I don't know how much time we'll spend on it. It doesn't require a lot, right? It's pretty much the same. You upload your document in there, and if you want to add some information about yourself. Was there anything that you would have preferred that we cover? I know that we have one more opportunity tomorrow, possibly with a different set of faculty. So if you want to whisper to anything to Laura on the way out, like, man, do so, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to improve in our next session. But thank you so much for your attendance. It's just a pleasure to be around professionals and actually stand in front of faculty face to face. Thanks for your support going to Sakai 11. It's really the early adopters like you that are getting in front of the curve. They're really going to make it possible for everyone else to come aboard. It's your contributions and your observations that are going to make it better for everybody. So thank you so much. All right. So, just bumps around.
Quick question. So